Hello, I'm the developer and founder of Autonomia, and I'm going to show you how you can use our tool to save a lot of time. Right here, I wanted to show you how you can use our tool with an example. As you can see right here, I have a very usual setup which contains all of my leads that I want to send an email to. I have stored them by name, email, and sector. And what I want to do is, depending on their type of sector, I want to send one kind of email or another. So first what I'm gonna do is load the spreadsheet that I showed you. So to do this, we have to go to the spreadsheets category and use the load spreadsheet block. I'm gonna name it spreadsheet. You can name it however you want. And I'm gonna put the file path to my spreadsheet. Now that we have loaded the spreadsheet, we have to open a worksheet inside of the spreadsheet, because as you know, spreadsheets can contain multiple worksheets. We're going to name it worksheet right here. You can name it however you want to. And we're going to take it from the spreadsheet we loaded above. Now we're going to set a variable, which is a block which defines text, numbers, decimals, or booleans, which is a condition, true or false. And we're going to call it email body. And for now, the content is just going to be body. Now, as you can see, we have 4 leads, but they can be a lot more. So what we're gonna do is, instead of making a block for each row, we're gonna do something that we call repetition, which is going to be this block right here, which is going to execute the blocks inside an n amount of times. Right here we see that we have 4 leads, so we're gonna repeat 4 times. But also we want to keep track of the index where we are. So I'm just going to create a variable, which this time is going to be a number, and with its content being 2, because we want to start at the second row. So as I said earlier, my goal with this is to see if the sector is tech or agriculture, and depending on this, the email body is going to change. We're going to use a block called conditional execution. So first, we're going to read a specific cell, which in this case would be the row index and the column 3, because in column 3 we have the sector, and a row index which starts by 2, but every time that this repeats, it's going to increment, so it's going to be the second row, then the third row, then the fourth row, then the fifth row. Now, depending on the type of sector, we're going to set the body to something or another thing. So we're going to do something called a conditional execution, which means that if the condition is true, it's going to execute what's inside of here. So we're going to compare the last line, which is here the read cell, which takes the type of sector, and we're going to check if it's equal to tech. If it is equal to tech, we're going to set the variable which we created earlier called email body, and we're going to set the text to something that I've created earlier, which is just a dummy text. And we're going to do the same thing for agriculture. Okay, so we've done the same thing but for agriculture. So let's just look at the code again. So we're repeating 4 times what is inside of this whole thing until here, the end repeat. What we're doing right now is reading on the worksheet that we opened earlier. We're going to read the row which we are in, which is right now 2, and the third column. If the third column here, last line, is equal to tech, then the email body is going to be this. If it's equal to agriculture, then it's going to be this. But as you notice, I've added placeholders inside of the text. So what we want to do right now is replace name with the actual name of the person. For these, we have a very handy block, which is called replace text. And the only thing that we need to do now is we're going to set the email body variable to this. We're going to take the text, which is email body. As I said, we want to replace the name placeholder, and we're going to replace it with, in this case, the first column which contains the name. So we're going to go here, go to spreadsheets, where we already know read cell, drag it on top, with the row index and the first column. New text is going to be last line, which is in this case the name. So we're taking the email body, searching for this placeholder right here, and replacing it with new text. And now we're going to store the email body variable again to last line, which is exactly equal to the email body with the name being replaced with the value that we set in our worksheet. And lastly, now we have to send the email. So Autonomia has a send Gmail block right here, which we can drag. It's going to ask us for the body, which we already have right here, the subject, which can be whatever you want, the from, which is our email, the recipients, which is going to be the mail that we have on the second column. So we're gonna go here, read the cell, drag it up here, take from the worksheet the row index as always, and take the second column. So now the recipient is going to be last line. And finally, the password. If you want to know how to get your app password, which is not the same than your Gmail password, you can click right here, and there's a very handy article which tells you what is your app password and how to get it. So now after sending the Gmail, we have to do one last thing. As you see, we always took the index variable, but the index variable has to increment by 1 every time that we repeat all of these blocks. So what we're gonna do is take the math category, place the add numbers inside of our project, take the index, just add 1 to it, and then reset the variable to that result. So the content is going to be last line, which is index plus 1. Set this as a number and reset index. So that's it. Right now the only thing left is saving this and downloading it. Now you'll see that I have a .bat file right here. If you're on Mac or Linux, it's going to be a .sh. The only thing left to do is just double click. This pop-up may appear on your screen. The only thing you have to do is click more info and run anyway. Now this terminal is going to appear right here, and you just gotta wait until it says Python script run successfully. And if we go to our Gmail, we're going to see that in fact the mails were sent. Hi Christopher, I wanted to reach out because we developed AgriTech Pro, and as you can see it said we developed AgriTech Pro because this is what I wanted to send to the users or the leads that are part of the tech sector. So this is it. Thank you for watching, and I see you on the next tutorial.